So Julian really got you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. So like immediately right after I got out of my last relationship, me and him like touched bases with each other again, started hanging out with each other and stuff like that. And then, I mean, it was just like we never left off. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
And we ended up becoming good friends. And I mean, every weekend now, it's been like, I want to say like the 10th weekend in a row I've gone over to this dude's house. We've done something. We'll figure something out just to get our minds off of the things that stress us out the most. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So as far as content creation, I always felt like if there was someone I could do it with naturally that I know I would roll off with, it would be you and him.
Yeah.
Because even every time I come over to your house, bro, it's just like we can sit here for hours and just chop it up.
Even before we hit recording, we were just chopping it up.
Yeah.
Like literally like tossing different ideas and tossing different things. And it's just like, oh shit, maybe we should start hitting record.
Yeah,
now,
we for sure could have got some good content on that.
And it's just, it goes back to the whole thing that we were saying earlier is content creation is not easy for us because we're starting off.
Right.
We're nowhere near like all these other content creators that are well known. And same thing like in the podcast industry that I've seen is that I'm nowhere near as Joe Rogan, or I'm nowhere near as Zane and Heath, or the Dropout podcast. There's multiple podcasts that are just, they have such a strong fan base just because they're already social influencers.
Right.
And who's to say that we can't get into that status?
Right.
And like you were saying, you and Julian were driving down Van Ness, and you guys were like, how can we get a house like that? Well, what does it take? And it could be anything.
Right.
We are the amount of opportunities are endless.
Right.
And we just had to start somewhere. I know in the beginning with the podcast is we had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
No matter how hard, how rough, how difficult it was in the beginning, you just had to start.
Right.
And that's what we did. And you look back at the first episodes and you're just like, fuck, that shit was rough. Like if you were to see how shit is now, like you're like, fuck, that was rough.
Yeah.
But we got through it. And somehow we have the following that we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, we're grateful for what we have. And the amount of ideas that we can contribute and we can think of is how can we make it bigger? How can we continue it and make more of an impact in this community?
Right.
And again, it's just you see these ideas from other social influencers. How can we do it better?
Right. Right. I think the biggest thing too is having a group of people who are already creative minds before the content creation, before
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, they're
before
like
the
willing to
social
put in
media.
the work.
Yeah. Even if they are content creators already as is, you can already scale them and be like, okay, well, like, what kind of content does he make? Is it quality? Is it something that feels authentic? Is it genuine? And then go from there. You know, I mean, I've dealt with a lot of other content creators where I see what they do, like other car content creators, right?
Yeah.
These dudes making reels of their cars. And I'm like, okay, how are they doing it? Because I'm sitting here putting
the same amount of work as they are.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm doing pretty well, but these dudes are like doing some top-notch work. What equipment are they using? What software are they using for editing?
And then sometimes you think about it, you put so much like effort into one reel, and you're just like, this is it. This is gonna go viral. This is gonna be the one.
Yeah.
10 views only. And I
Don't
know
like
the feeling.
algorithm.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I know the
mean,
feeling.
It's like I ended up finding out that sometimes it's not even about what the other person is doing or what equipment they're using. Like if you already feel passionate about what you're doing in that content creation. So like, for instance, if I'm passionate about me editing a video about my car or my homie's whip, and I choose a song that I know is everybody fucks with.
Yeah.
I know this song is grooving with the vibe of the whole video. You know what I'm saying? I got a sunset in the background. It's looking crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to post it. I'm satisfied. I'm not even going to care about the numbers at that point.
Yeah.
Because I know I did it out of pure passion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like that type of content creation versus clout creation is everything. Because people will try too hard to try and satisfy their audience or try too hard to try and get an audience's attention. And it's like, okay, bro, you're trying too hard. Like,
And then the thing is, once you get an audience like that, then you have to maintain it. And if that's not truly you, then you're going to be exhausted.
Fast.
Like, you're going to be stressed.
Yeah, fast.
And that's the hardest thing that when I came to a realization of like, how can I get more people to gain? Like I can say so much of like follow our Instagram, follow our TikTok.
Right.
I can only say that so much for people to be actually doing it.
Be like,
Yeah.
okay.
But to actually like find a way of like, where can I get a grasp of it? And then I told you, I literally thought about it. I was just like, well, what do I promote?
Right.
And I thought about this question that Jay already had told me. What makes your podcast better than any other podcast around the Central Valley?
Right.
Like, why do people want to listen to you? And when he said that, I literally didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, well, I don't know. What do I have to offer?
Yeah.
And then it kind of, spiraled me to the point where it was just like, hold on, like, yeah, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
What am I doing? And then I was just like, no, hold on. Like, I'm here to be an impact in the world. I'm here to make something, no matter how big or how small the change is.
Right.
My goal has always been to make sure that I leave something behind,
Right.
whether it's the biggest or the smallest impression. Because at any given point, I can go to somebody and tell them everything and be cool with them, and you know what, and leave something behind, and they'll be like, "Fuck, I remember Martin. I had that conversation with Martin."
Right. Right.
You know, and it's just that's my whole purpose.
Yeah. And I remember you did mention that, if I'm not mistaken, last year or the year before that was your exact word, was you wanted to leave a mark.
Yes.
And I mean, dude, that gave me chills thinking about that, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's crazy how fast time goes.
Yeah. And that's what my whole purpose was when I did the Instagram reels and shifted that and see like, okay, let me grasp into it. I had people criticizing it at first. They were like, wait, why are you doing that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like, aren't you a podcast?
Yeah, like, aren't you a podcast? Now you're developing into this motivational page.
Right.
And I told them, I was just like, no. I was just like, it's not about motivation.
Right.
It's about self-love. It's about
Right.
self-healing. It's about knowing that, hey, everything that you're going through in life, you're going to progress.
Right.
Remember that. Not giving up. Finding your passions. Every different post that I've made, there's always some significant value, whether it's for
Right.
me or it's for somebody else.
Right.
At the end of the day, like, I'm just making it for myself. And if it, and sometimes I'll look at it and be like, fuck, that hit me.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm just gonna post it and it's for myself.
Right.
Post a couple pictures and make a reel into it, and it's for me.
Yeah.
Now there's some that hit harder than others, and there's some that grasp the attention of others.
Right.
But I can say that equally, all the posts have gave Broke Boys the page a
Right.
significant defiance of what it stands.
Right.
I think it's also easier too because it's not like you're not at the forefront of it, whereas before it was like pictures of you and like not just you but like people of like the hosts and stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's easier to like take in because there isn't someone like it's just sceneries and it's places you've been and it's things like you want to say but it's already like pre-written, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's a little bit easier I think to digest too.
yeah.
And then if it's on your page and they see your page, they want to eventually come listen. And it's the same thing as what they're seeing, then they'll stay, which is eventually the hope.
Yeah, and I'm not, forgetting the fact of grabbing clips. Before how I made reels about the clips of the podcast episodes that we've had and the guests. I'm not forgetting that. The only thing is because of that is that we're currently moving and making sure that we have almost like an upgrade.
Yeah.
So I'm switching rooms from the podcast room to a different base and trying to get a different look, trying to do anything. I want to perfect the visual first and then hop on the editing of it before I even publish anything.
Right.
Because again, like I started this and I threw myself in.
Yeah.
And again, not knowing anything, not knowing how to edit, not knowing how to figure anything out.
Right.
So now I was just like, you know what? Maybe do one thing at a time. Maybe take my time. I already kind of know how things work. I already know how to work the camera. So why not perfect one thing at a time and not be in a rush?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's just where I'm at. And eventually, again, I'll have those reels and I'll have those video clips and little
for
shortcuts
sure.
of everybody.
Yeah.
But for right now, I mean, everything's working.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to restart or start all over. That's
Yeah.
one thing I had to figure out for myself is like I took a huge break after, the situation with my solar company and stuff like that. I sat back and I was like, you know what? Like, even if I have to take a pause from dropping reels or dropping content, whether it be on TikTok or Instagram or wherever, like, I can't be afraid to be like, okay, I'm going to take a step back from this and pray to God my followers are still here when I come back.
Yeah.
Like, no, you have to remember that this is your personal life. Social media can only go so far. Like, if you're not doing it for a monetary value, then you're doing it for cheap dopamine if you're looking for acceptance from, what I'm saying, social media.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't take a step back and say, okay, let me just start all over without it impacting you that much, then maybe it's not for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like it's hard. Don't get it twisted.
For sure.
Let's just say your whole account got deleted.
Yeah.
And you had to start all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, that will test your patience. That will test whether you want to go back to doing it or
your
not.
determination. Are you going to do it again or not?
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, don't get it twisted. I know it's hard, but at the same time, just don't let your soul get too attached to what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? If you're passionate about it, by all means, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do, but don't let social media destroy you. Don't let it get that grasp on you. You know what I'm saying? Because it can get dangerous, man.
Yeah, and like you said too, like people sometimes make reels or make clips for clout.
Right.
You know, it's just like, okay, like I get like because I see that sometimes I see some of these influencers or people that are trying to be influencers that make those types of content or make those types of trends,
Right.
and it's just like, okay, cool, like you're doing that, but what are you promoting?
Right.
What's your purpose of doing these things?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, are you trying to get just the short term, or are you trying to look for the long term?
Is it an ego boost? Is it monetary value?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
And then somebody, I forgot what podcast, but Kat was showing me a podcast, and they brought up that social media, you almost have to be an attention whore, or like you're seeking attention all the time.
Yeah, that social media influencer full of themselves.
Yeah.
Or like, and you
Right.
have to be to
Right.
do it. You have to think like you have to think you're the prettiest person. You have to think like you're the best of the best to put yourself out there. Because if not, and you sit there and really think about it, like there's no way you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, I'm nowhere near that. I don't have the ego boost nor the fucking talk, just because I don't want to ever be perceived as like, oh, look at Martin, he's top dog now,
Right.
like big and bad, you know, he's all about business now. I can't talk to him. And if that's the case, then I'll talk to my agent, please leave me alone.
Yeah, right.
I also feel like the social media pressure is just a lot too in general. So like I was talking to my homegirl about this earlier today, as a matter of fact. You know, like, have you ever seen someone who was huge in social media and they were like trying to defend their name in the comments? They got all these trolls on here talking mad smack about them. They're commenting under each and every one. And it's like that can make or break you, you know? Either you can go back and try to defend your name and say, oh, this, that, and the third, and you know what I'm saying? Or you can just let them think whatever they want.
Think, yeah.
Because if you feed into that, like, and I'm not gonna bring up no Drake, but he just made a really good point. He said, he basically was saying, like, what do I look like trying to defend myself in every room that I'm not in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna stress yourself out.
Absolutely.
And you're never gonna get ahead of it.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get ahead of it. You're not going to be able to stop the lies or the rumors that people are starting on you. And like what most people say, if you want to believe those rumors, believe it. Just leave me the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's just social media sometimes, if you let it get to you, it can take a toll. It can take a toll.
I just think it's funny though, because now we're like 24, 25, like 20, almost 26 years old. In middle school, I was posting every day on Instagram. Like I had to post every day on Instagram. Like if not, like how are they gonna know how to Instagram if I'm not posting?
Right.
Like you had to. Like there was no not posting. So it's funny to see, like, I have cousins that are like freshmen in high school, and like what they're posting and the way they're posting is so different from like what we posted or like what we would get to like get attention. So it's just funny to see, like. And then when my cousin's complaining, like, oh my God, this person followed me on Instagram and this person unfollowed me, I'm like, who cares? But then I have to remember, like, at one point, like, I was like that too. And that was like, I don't know, it's just crazy to think
The
about.
social media beef back in the day was crazy.
Hey, man. When you got
Dude,
Snapchat when it first came out.
Do you remember when you can see people's how many snaps they sent?
Yeah.
Dude, I was on, or your best friends list?
Oh, no.
Why did they do that?
We won't talk about that.
Why did they do that?
Jeez.
I was, dang. Did you see that Instagram's off topic? Did you see that Instagram you can add a song to your profile now?
Yes.
Like MySpace?
I'm already ahead of you. I'm on that.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to put one today.
I'm on that.
What you got on your?
Yeah, what would be your song?
Life Imitates Life by Quanic. It's like underground rock shit. It's not. Yeah.
Hey, go off.
Nothing mainstream.
What would be yours?
I don't know.
Yours would be Runaway by Kanye West. I know. I know it.
I love.
You don't love
love
Kanye
that
West.
song.
You love that song.
No, don't get me wrong. The King Kanye West will make a return one day.
Whoa.
He's just on medication, not on his medication.
I don't know. I just put a Billie Eilish song probably.
But that's
I'm obsessed with Billie Eilish right now.
Yeah.
Like
what you're on right now.
over my whole life song. I don't know what I would do.
I don't know. I know if I would
I like
listen
Here
to
by
it.
Alicia Cara, but I just know that one's depressing. So I'm like, maybe not.
We didn't even fucking roll the intro. We just jumped right into it.
All right,
Literally.
roll it.
Oh,
You won't. Roll it.
Before we continue, let's go ahead and let's roll the intro. Jumped right into it.
We them broke boys from the hood. We on them missions understood. Won't catch us lacking, we that good. We always winning like we should. We flying high, we butterfly up to the sky. No way you catching us goodbye. Pray to God we make it out alive. I'll never leave my dogs behind. We stick together like we signed. We shooting stars, one of a kind. We undefeated, just resign. Money more lore than a bitch nowadays. Don't talk the talk.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Broke Boys. I'm Martin,
I'm Kat.
and we got here special guest, my boy DJ.
Yo.
So we kind of just dove right into it. We didn't have really what's his
A topic?
a topic to talk about. We wanted just to, hey, let's just continue the conversation deep into it. DJ mentioned open mic, so just really just let loose and let our minds just go.
Just a certified yapper trying to yap, that's all.
And we're all chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like DJ's in a hammock chair. I'm in my computer chair. You're in your computer chair. Everyone, the vibes are good right now.
Yes.
Fan blowing, I feel great.
So is there anything new that you've been like doing or up to? I know you've been, trying to look for work and taking your time.
Yeah, I mean, I really just tried to hone in on being as, what's the word? Not great. Like, I'm grateful already. I've been grateful for the opportunities I was given, but I'm trying to hone in on being as, like
present.
not even that. Just, like, limiting myself to the bare minimum. Like, I don't know if this is, like, a survival instinct, but when things go to shit, I tend to drop a lot of things that were unnecessary around me.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
stick to the things that I just basically need to survive on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've dropped a lot of unnecessary people. I've dropped a lot of like background noise, just stuff that I was just like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't need this around me at this point.
Yeah.
But as far as like anything new that I'm getting into, not necessarily. Like I said, just me and Julian scheming on ideas of starting a new YouTube channel. Trying to figure out how we can progress with content creation. We really just want to do it because we already know we can make content. It's not hard. We actually do have a YouTube video that we made with the homie Lalo. This was like back in 2020 when I had that gray Lexus. And I mean, it was a pretty solid video. I wish we would have dropped it. I don't know if we would have had trouble with copyright with music or nothing like that, but
Yeah.
it's just like that. Even that video alone goes to show that content creation is not hard. It's not something that's impossible. We could do it if we really just put our minds to it. A lot of it is just getting up and doing it. The
Yeah.
same way that, when you came out with the idea with that, hey, you know what, maybe we just drop this, now. Like, why don't we just start now? What's stopping us?
Yeah.
Of course, equipment's going to put that hold on you, but
use what you got.
yeah.
I mean, shit.
Even if it's just an iPhone, bro. I make all my content on an iPhone. I've had people literally ask me, hey, what do you use to make your reels? Like, what editing software? I'm like, bro, I use Instagram.
That's it.
I use the app. nigga.
Literally the app to edit. I have not used one single edit that is published on my Instagram with a CapCut edit.
Yeah.
Which is cool as fuck, honestly.
The sample.
That's talent.
Yeah, I
I
try.
cheat. I cheat.
try.
I gotta cheat.
I try.
I work full time, bro. I have to cheat.
So as far as like my editing and stuff, and whether it's like capturing photos or anything like that, I do all my editing by the T. Like literally, whether it's shadows, highlights, brightness, saturation, all that.
That's
I
crazy.
do
That's
all
cool.
that.
Do you find it
And,
hard to like be intentional in like taking the pictures or like recording the video?
It's hard for me
Or
to
is that like your
remember.
main? Yeah.
It's hard for me to be like, oh, I should get this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so in the moment to sometimes where I'm just,
You're like,
get
fuck, I
done.
missed it.
Yeah, I get done with the situation. I'm like, bro, why didn't I just pull my camera out and get some
Yeah.
content? Like,
Yeah.
it's still a thing for me. I got really good about pulling my camera out when I'm around the homies because everybody can talk amongst themselves, and I'm the kind of person where if it's a big group of us, I'm usually on the outcast. I'm usually the person that's standing around like looking at my car. I'm like, you know, let me bring the camera out. Let me get my phone out.
Someone's talking, you're just
yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, yeah, it does get hard sometimes to just bring it up, but once I get back in the groove of like video editing and stuff like that, I mean, it's easy. I can make a real, like I was telling Martin earlier, I can videotape a car meet or like a group of cars and then edit it and be done in like 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And
that's quick.
But again, through CapCut, I just dropped a sample of what I was doing, I think Saturday or Friday or something like that. Bro, I'm still not even halfway done. CapCut to me
it's
is
harder.
just,
It's more complicated.
Yeah, there's so much to it. So much. But yeah, I mean,
I can only imagine. I struggle with, and I told you this already, that it's so different when you have, like, I have the GoPro.
right.
Whooping out that whole GoPro and recording. Like, it's just so intimidating.
Right.
So, like, I don't want anybody in public to be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, you know, it's just like, because then I know how I would be. I'm like, the fuck you recording, dog? Like,
Yeah.
Well, not even that, but I think you just get like, you feel like everyone's looking at you, so then you don't want to pull it out.
And then it's just like, that's why I'll whip out my phone or something, you know, something quick.
Right.
You know, so because everyone's on their phone, there's not going to be no attention drawn
Well,
to it.
I think it's kind of funny because the GoPro's tiny.
Yeah.
Like in his big ass hand, you can't even see it.
But
so
even-
I'm like, dude, just pull it out. Yeah, or without the like, because that's what his thing was. He was like, I don't want to like hold the camera because I'd be like, you should record this. And he's like, no, that's weird. And I was like, okay, so we took off the handle and now it's just the GoPro.
Right.
And it fits in his pocket and he pulled it out and I was like, okay, pull out your GoPro. He's like, no, everyone's going to look at me.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. It looks like
No,
I'm a
everyone's gonna
sketchy ass
look at
dude, bro. 'cause
me.
I'm
tiny camera.
I'm just looking around all scared.
Dude, bro's a private investigator. Nah, I mean, you know what I always thought would be kind of cool for something like that, right? For people who are nervous or people who just don't really feel like comfortable about pulling a camera out or like a lot, like, trust me, you won't catch me out here with a GoPro on a camera stick pointed towards me like, hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah,
This is like,
it's hard.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The best thing I feel like in our generation that we could use to our advantage for that is literally those Ray-Ban shades. The ones with the
Yes.
Oh,
cameras
I've
on it.
seen those.
I've seen those.
It's so like
discreet.
Yes, it's so like you can wear it in your outfit. Nobody would know. You can record something and be like, "Yo, what the hell is that?" And
Yeah.
people would be like, "Oh, he's just talking to himself. He's worried about what the fuck he's looking at."
Yeah.
But the whole time you're recording the whole situation, or you're
Yes.
vlogging, you're walking with people, having a full conversation, and you don't have to carry the whole stick with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you're still getting the content you need, the quality you need.
Because you don't necessarily have to be in the content
Yeah.
yourself. People know who you are. Your audience knows who you are if they follow you.
It's like a body cam that you're
Well,
watching.
and then if you can have someone else wear the glasses and be like, hey, follow me.
And that's what I told Julian earlier. I said, okay, if we're doing like group content creation, we could all like go out to a restaurant or something. We're all wearing glasses. And you
Literally.
can transition between people.
Between the
viewpoints.
views.
Different
Yeah.
viewpoints.
Let's
Like-
get him for Disneyland.
Yeah, that'd be lit.
I'm like, imagine just wearing the glasses and walking around. No one's going to know.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
is
you might
such
look
a
like
good-
Men in Black with like 6 people wearing the same
Yeah.
shades, but
But I mean, mind your business. People do weirder things.
yeah, exactly.
true.
That's a good idea. I haven't thought about that.
I've seen them. And I know they were linked up with, is it the Meta?
The Meta,
Like they were
Maybe. Well,
There's-
didn't Snapchat have like an old
Snapchat
pair?
glasses.
Yeah, there was like not the first ones, but they were like pretty early on.
It was a Snapchat camera too, right? The little one that you could take everywhere.
I thought it was just the glasses.
I remember
Was
the
it-
goggles, but I don't remember the.
I
Meta.
I don't
remember.
remember a camera.
The only
either.
reason why I remember the camera was because David Dobrik got sent one,
Mm.
and
Oh,
he
maybe.
was showing like, "Oh, this is what it looks like through, my perspective." And look, this is the camera dedicated for Snapchat because
Oh,
obviously,
maybe.
the Snapchat is all for the influencers now. I see all
Yeah.
like I feel like Snapchat.
They
Pays,
say that it pays.
yeah.
Snapchat pays.
That's what
Yeah.
they said.
I don't know anybody.
They say
in
it's
my inner
one of the
circle that
highest
does that.
paying.
I don't know anybody in my circle that's like, yo, you seen us on Snapchat? Like,
I don't
I
know.
watch people on Snapchat.
And I don't get. Like, I don't feel like anybody's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Snapchat. I'm gonna watch this person on Snapchat. Or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
I'd be doing that.
I mean, maybe the younger generation might.
Maybe.
I think it's for like beauty influencers too. They're like doing their makeup. They're like, this is what I got. Then you can add links now. So it's like,
Right.
oh, slide up to get this concealer, slide up to get this, whatever. You can hear that.
They whooping that ass.
Okay, so
What's like what would you say is your biggest target audience? Like, where do you want to be the biggest in? Like, you want just your like TikTok? Ooh. You want just your YouTube, just your Insta? Like, what would you want to be?
I think the goal, and I've thought about this before, and I'm glad that you brought up this question, is that I think the goal has always been is through all platforms.
Right.
Is that it's always been available for people on YouTube. It's always been available. I've always made sure that the podcast is available for everybody.
Right.
And same thing with our social media. If you look up Broke Boys, I guarantee you're going to find pictures of our social media or clips of our social media everywhere now.
Right.
So my whole goal was, it doesn't matter of where I want it to be, whether it's all on TikTok, all on Instagram, all on Facebook, whatever.
Right.
My whole thing was I want it to be everywhere, to the point where it's like I'm not even posting it.
Yeah.
It's some dude in China that's fucking taking
social
my clips.
media manager.
You know?
Yeah. That's real.
You know, that's my goal of it.
I do think eventually, like, you'll get to the point to where like your clips are so controversial, or like the things that we talk about is just so huge and relatable to where you got people like, I know you've seen like stream snipers. People are in there watching the stream, waiting for clips, clip farming and stuff like that. I think eventually you'll get there. You are a year and how many months in now?
I want to say it's like what are we in, August?
August,
like a year and 2 months.
Dude. And as many people you've reached already, I'm telling you, bro, you're gonna grow big, like huge, quick. And I hope that, you know, the ideas of collaborations and you know, having other influencers reaching out to you or just collabing with you in general, I hope that really boosts, you know, what you're trying to do, because it's huge.
Yeah, I
and
appreciate
you're genuine,
that.
Though. It's not the fact that you're trying to, oh, I want to be #1 artist on YouTube. I'm trying to beat Mr. Beast. Like, you know, you're authentic about what you want in this entire situation. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are just, oh, I just want to get rich, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
make the money
famous,
while you're
bro.
working from home.
Yeah.
They want to they see how influencers make the money, and they were like, you know what? I want to do it like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If this were to pay one day and it's just incredible of how much money you're getting,
Right.
then absolutely. Then you quit your day job and you do this full time.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But you're not like one of those people who are biting ideas from other people. Like, I know Mr. Beast has people who, and he talked about this in one of the podcasts I watched. He has people who will literally watch a video or like a specific stream he does and they'll mimic it.
Yeah.
And they get numbers off it, which
crazy.
is crazy, right? But it's like you're not doing it authentically for yourself. You didn't come up with the idea yourself, and now you just look like you're really chasing clout. That alone just...
And he has such a huge PR team.
Yeah.
And a creative content team.
Yeah.
Like, I know. And even with all the controversial shit that's been going on.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah, I have.
Just that whole thing. And then you have some other influencers that say that they got robbed and rigged from one of the competitions. And that shows proof and the receipts about it.
Right.
So it's just like, you see all these cancellations. He's the only influencer that I know that can bypass all these cancellations.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
literally.
cancel culture is a fucking bitch.
It's huge, bro.
And you're telling me that the #1 fucking YouTuber can't get canceled at all?
Right.
But there's so much things that are like out already about him.
You remember the whole Johnny Depp situation?
Yes.
My goodness. Bro.
How quick that shit was.
So quick it was that, but how quick people were to be like, oh, Johnny Depp, fuck this guy, yada, yada, yada. We supported you. And then when the court was finished with the case.
Yeah, when it came out.
My God.
Yeah.
It just shows that, like, it goes to show how easily influenced social media is and just people and society in general. Like, I feel like the internet has ruined that a lot for us, because before you had to really research something. Before mass social media propaganda and mass social media, like, informants came in, you had to really sit down and be like, dang, did you hear about what happened to Chris Brown? And you're like, no, what happened? And you got to go in and do the research. You got to go to Forbes or you got to go to whatever website you can to figure it out. Now it's just like you've got other content creators who are waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
And journalists and stuff, and they post certain things, and sometimes it's not the right information. Sometimes it's so out of touch. You go with it, you ride with it, you tell somebody else, and now you got everybody looking stupid.
And then and then they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. This day and age of information output is just, it's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
You got to really still deep
Which
dive.
is it's hard to see like how social media, like on TikTok, for example, how so many people go and resource to TikTok to get different information.
Yeah, it's just everything's too easily accessible.
And it's just like, okay, some of this information can be right, some of this information can be wrong. Who's to say that we know which one's which anymore?
Yeah.
Right.
So it just makes it does make it difficult. There's a lot of what is it, the good to evil or evil to good?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even then, like, it's horrific what AI can do now too.
Yeah.
AI is crazy.
I mean, I watch videos and I'm like, it takes a few watches to be like, oh no, this is AI, this is fake.
This is fake.
But who's to say what kind of propaganda like news outlets can use towards that? Or
did you see the Kamala Harris? She did a whole campaign.
Yeah, I saw
I've
that.
seen it. Yeah, I've seen it on all
through
kinds
AI.
of people.
Yeah,
All through AI. And
It's
people caught
crazy.
it.
the flyer, and you're looking at the flyer, you're like, wait a minute, people's phones aren't replicating what they're looking at, and then you
Like-
start looking further in the crowd, you're like, these aren't even people.
I think it's so interesting though because I think it is very cool. Like I think AI and like in its whole being is very cool.
Yeah,
But I think it just goes back to what you were saying where it's like it's harmful to a sense.
Yeah.
Like it's too easily accessible. Like I have a friend and she literally refuses to play her phone music through her car. And she's like, I'm just going to take whatever the radio gives me. Like, and it's one less choice I have to make. Because because you go on social media and like everything's giving you all kinds of things you have to think about all the time.
right.
Like you don't your brain doesn't get a downtime at all. You're constantly making decisions, constantly having to decide like what's true and what's not true. So she says that sometimes she goes home and she does not hook up her phone and whatever plays on the radio plays. She was like, and it just takes off one less choice I have to make for what kind of music I want to listen to.
Wow.
Or what do I want to absorb.
That is, I've never heard of anything like that.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Yeah, we went to visit her and I was like, oh, what are you going to like put on? I was like, why are we listening to the radio? She was like, because I don't want to decide what to put on. I was like, respect. Like, she's like, think about it. Like all the choices you have to make constantly while being on your phone. She was like, if I can like cut one out and just listen to the radio, I'm good.
Wow.
And that's what she does.
Sometimes that's all it really takes is that one to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
And then truly, like your phone's not hooked up. You don't know who's calling. You don't know who's texting. You're focused
Yeah.
on the road. You
Yeah.
can zone out and be in your thoughts and you're not having to make a decision. You're just driving.
Now in today's day and age, you can be on your phone and you're just driving.
Yeah.
And that's a bad habit.
That's a huge
Mm-hmm.
And I know
bad
people do it.
Yeah.
And I know I do it sometimes. Where I'm just like, if I get an important email or I get an important text message from Kat or from somebody else.
Yeah, everything feels so urgent.
I'm driving and I'll be answering the fucking text.
Yeah.
And again, like you should never fucking do that. Never text and drive.
Right.
And then sometimes I'm just like, well, fuck, like I need to look at some of the social media posts and see what that's going on because sometimes I'll get this long ass feed on Instagram
Yeah.
and it's just like, fuck, like hold on, let me check that. And I'm driving, checking social media at the same time.
Yeah.
And then it's like it does feel urgent because you know that the other person's on their phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know they're going to get it immediately. So if they just sent it to you, you have to respond back or you're going to miss them. And
That
then it's like
pressure
this
is
whole thing.
real.
Yeah, and it's like
So
this
real.
whole thing. And you're like, oh my God, I don't want to do this right now. But you're like, I have the attention right now. I need to
Yeah.
respond or I'm never going to get a response for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Like that's real. Like all that shit is like,
Isn't
it's
it?
like the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yeah, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it crazy to you guys how one simple decision can like really make the huge change in your life, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, and it doesn't even have to be like a major choice, right? Like
Not even a big one.
I was talking to one of my homegirls the other day, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest, like I used to be big in poetry when I was younger. Like crazy fact about me is I used to really like poetry back in the days. I was quick with it. You know what I'm saying? I was a huge like English nerd. Like I loved English.
Period.
You were a poet.
I was a poet. Indeed. And like growing up, I was really big into wordplay. Like if I really would have put my mind to it back in the days, I could have rapped, but I just,
He said it wasn't my journey.
it wasn't something I dreamed of. But I used to like study the dictionary. Like I used to be like 7, 8 years old, open up a dictionary and just read the words.
Yeah.
You know how vocab words used to
Yeah.
be back in middle school? I would do that shit for fun.
My
Period.
dyslexia would never allow me to do it.
My dyslexia would fuck me up.
And so I thought about it because me and her were talking about it, and she sent me a reel of like poetry slam. I was like, "How did you know I like poetry?" And she was like, "You like poetry?" I was like, "I mean, yeah, I used to write it in high
Yeah.
school." And she was just like, "What?" She's like, "I would have never thought of that of you." And I was like, "You just made me think maybe I should get back into that."
Yeah.
And I thought about it even deeper. I said, "You know what? But I can't get into that because for one, and this is huge, and I mean huge for people of our age, a lot of people don't read. By that,
No, facts.
Guilty.
I'm
Guilty, big dog.
factual.
by that, I don't mean on your phone reading a post. I mean getting a book, opening it up, and reading it just for the fact that you just want to read.
Well, and not only that, they don't like getting a book is like detrimental to them and like their image. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way.
Yeah,
I need a book with pictures.
No, you do
I like
not.
photos.
No, that is fact. Like, the literacy is
Yeah.
crazy.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
And I know COVID had a huge thing to do with that with the younger generation. They were like, when I was a freshman in high school, we were already given tablets.
Yeah.
They were already reading off of that. So I can already imagine the kids going through elementary, middle right now with actual laptops, tablets and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. That's beyond me. Anyways.
Well, I will say this is like I struggled. So this is for me for not being able to read a book because I struggle reading a book. You
Yeah.
give me a book right now,
Yeah.
it'll take me at least 3 years to finish the book.
Yeah.
It could be just 10 pages, but it's always been like my dyslexia, and then it's also been the shameful reading.
Right.
So
Well,
when
I think you're also an
grown-
like an English language learner.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I remember sometimes in class, you remember when you were a kid, they would do like
The popcorn reading.
popcorn reading, and then you'd be that one kid that would be like
Right. They pick on you just to.
yeah, I would be that kid, and people would pick on me for it, and it's just like I can't control it. Or sometimes I wouldn't be able to pronounce certain words, and I still can't.
Yeah.
And that's again, there's so much things that I can blame for it. I have a lot of head injuries too that kind of fucked me up with which is why I have like stuttering problems or mispronunciation problems.
Right.
And a lot of people catch me on and they make fun of me for it.
Right.
And then again, I don't mean Kat does it sometimes.
Yeah.
But again,
Oh.
she does it just because it's acceptable. Me and her
Right.
we pick
Right.
on each other. But when somebody's just like, I had somebody before be like, why don't you fucking speak right? And
Yeah,
it's just
that's a tough one, bro.
yeah,
I've heard that before.
and it's just
too.
like
That's when you put your arm back and you swing as hard as you can. That's when you cock your arm back and go.
That's when you say, "Why don't you duck?" And but yeah, man.
See, but then it goes back to like the tablets. Like, I'm a teacher. Like, if now we have an English language student, we can give them a tablet that reads it in English for them.
Right.
They're getting it read to them in English and they're reading it in Spanish.
Right.
And now they're like fostering both.
But wouldn't
Right.
that be cheating? Because if that kid is just utilizing it as like, oh, well, it's reading it to me in English, I don't have to learn the English language. It's
But
just,
how is it?
I'm listening to it.
But how is it cheating if my thing as a teacher is like, if I can get you to at least semi-understand the work, then it's easier than me throwing a worksheet at you and you not knowing what you're doing.
I also kind of feel like it helps too because if it's translating it right there and it's telling them what
What the
it
word
is in
is.
English. Like for me, when I was learning Spanish, and this was in high school, when I was learning it, I was able to like look at certain words. I'm like, okay, this means this, and I can tell
Yeah,
that
and you
because
kind of
it
piece
looks
it together.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
just like the same
Yeah.
word. You know what I'm saying? And so once you've read it over and over, and you see it in the same sentence over and over in a different language, you're like, okay, now I know what this means.
Yeah, and then they're like seeing it visually with their eyes, and then they're hearing it.
Right.
And then if they have to fill out a packet or a worksheet, then they're writing it. Then that's 3 different ways that they're getting the information,
Right.
while also getting it read to them in Spanish.
Right.
So they're not completely lost. They've heard it once in Spanish. Now they're hearing it in English, and if the teacher is lucky enough or quick enough,
Yeah.
they can get the worksheet on the tablet and it'll read the questions on the worksheet.
I think for me, I just see it because it would be lazy because it's just like, oh, I'm just using some cheat sheet. you
Yeah.
know?
But
I'm
then
not gonna learn
also-
language.
Also, at the same time, though, technology is not going anywhere. So for the rest of their life, while they live in the United
That's true.
States,
Yeah.
they could also pull up their phone, pull up their tablet, and translate right in front of them.
Yeah.
Like, part of what we're doing in education as like a whole is like we can't beat technology. There's no way. So how can we teach these kids how to use it responsibly and like in a way that's beneficial for them and everyone around them?
I feel like that's the balance of the good and the evil, though, because think about what happens when, and God forbid this actually happens, but doomsday hit, and you don't got no technology,
And
you
everything's done.
can't look up how to set up a tent. You can't look up how to
That's
create a
real.
fire. You can, you know what I'm saying? These kids are gonna be like, my phone don't work. I'm out.
See, but then I feel like some of that's like the parents. Then that's up to you.
Yeah, true.
You know, like I
Parent,
feel
true.
like that you can't teach them how to put a pen in school.
Yeah.
Then that's like hopefully their parents figure out that part to make them a well-rounded human.
Right.
It's just hard. Like it's just like the balance again
Yeah.
of like
And everyone grows
how
up
much is
differently,
too much
too.
and like yeah. I don't think it'll ever happen, at least in our lifetime.
No, but I
hope
think
not.
everyone
I think-
grows up in a different environment.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
it's just
Yeah,
like-
I think
Yeah.
there's
for me, it was like my dad showed me a lot of stuff hands on.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm not going to pay for mechanics. I'm going to do the work myself.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So then my dad kind of taught me the same way.
Right.
And same thing if door gets jammed or I'm not calling somebody to come, hey, I need somebody to change my door or something.
Right.
I'll do it myself.
Exactly.
Just a lot of things that I'll figure out that he's taught me to, hey, utilize the things yourself. You don't got to do, you don't have to pay anybody to come out here to do it if you can do it yourself.
I did the same thing just last week, and I told the homeboy, I said, listen, because he was asking like on Instagram, hey, who does oil changes? I was like, bro, I'll do it for $30 for you. I'll pull up to your crib with the tools and do it for you. Just get the oil and the filter. We'll get it situated. But I said, I'm going to show you so that way, once I'm done with this, you can do it yourself every single time. If you need to borrow the tools, I got you. I'm not finna just jip you and be like, oh no, I got a guaranteed customer every single time. And for the average businessman, your friends are gonna be customers. That's real. But I'd rather be able to show you how to do it and you not be a customer to me at the end of the day, because I'm gonna still get it no matter what. Yeah. I got so many other trades I can practice.
There's a saying for that. What's the saying?
You can teach a man how to fish.
Yeah. What is it?
It's give a man a fish and he'll eat for that day. Teach a man how to fish and
he'll eat for life.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So, I mean, that to me was the biggest takeaway, because it's just like, I'm not going to sit here and just know that I could show you something and I'm still holding back. Just be like, nah.
Yeah. So you can make $30 every once in a while.
Yeah.
No,
Smart business idea.
And that's cool. That's what I'm saying. I feel like if more people were like that, then there would be a lot less problems, a lot less issues, a lot less like fallouts over money, because like you can teach him and he can do it himself, and then he's better for the next one.
Right.
Yeah,
you like double and pass it on. But
exactly. But everything's such a corporation.
That's what I'm saying. Everything's like based in money now. Like everything.
Yeah, and then you got to be willing to do the work. I think now it's like there's a lot of people that get lazy to even do the work.
There's like
themselves.
a convenience factor to it.
Yeah, it's just like, why would I do it? Why don't I just pay somebody to fucking do it?
Yeah.
Right. And it's understandable. If you're a busy person, you're working, you're going to school, you got a kid. I mean, hey.
More power to you.
Yeah, I'd pay somebody too. I ain't going to be mad at you. But if you know you got the time to do it, you're just like, I'm not trying to do it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's on you. You losing out on money. You could have used that money towards something else. You could have invested that money into something. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I just think it's important that, back to the topic of technology, good and bad, right? Even though we do have technology, and I'm not going to be some huge like, oh, you need to take technology away from your kids, take the tablet out there. Like, no, you don't have to. There's educational stuff on there.
Yeah, I think in like moderation, like everything else.
Everything in moderation. As long as they're not watching brain rot 24/7, then that's good. If you can at least like just every now and then look and be like, hey, what are you watching? And you watch TikTok with your kid and interact with them at that moment, you know what I'm saying? Then you can like maybe steer the path of what they're getting into without being like
overbearing
too on them. Yeah, not overbearing.
Yeah.
Like, they can see things that are educational. They can watch things that can help them out. I've got a bunch of self-help and nature stuff that I get up on my TikTok about, like, even if it's just somebody out in nature in silence cooking up a whole meal. Bro, I love those videos.
I love those videos.
Love
too.
that.
I was telling Kat this too on my 4U. I know it's completely off topic, but I have this little Asian man that fucking cooks everything, or he runs out of something. So like the other day, he ran out of soy sauce. Right. So obviously they're from a third world country, so they have to make everything by hand. So his whole video is just like,
Making
oh man,
soy sauce.
I need to make soy sauce.
Right.
Gets soy sauce, gets the soybeans, and starts doing the whole process. And you're watching the whole thing, bro. I'm literally watching this man do it by hand.
That's crazy.
And it's just like, it's insane.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good. I just think it's up to the new parents and like even the older parents. Like teach your kid how to use social media.
Yeah.
Like teach them what's appropriate, what's not. Do it with them. Like monitor their thing. My mom watched my Instagram till I was in like high school. And she was still like, give me your login. No, I don't want to. Give me your login. I need to see what you're doing. Like, I appreciate it now. But like at the time I was like, damn, like give me a minute.
Right.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I think now you have a chance that the kids are growing up with it.
Right.
Now you can teach them how to use it and what to do. And hey, that's a fake account. You shouldn't answer that. Like, do all those kind of things. Because when we had social media, everything was fairly new.
Yeah.
So like,
we were the test junkies for sure. We went through it all.
More power to those people that have kids right now.
Hey, all I want to say is if you're out here studying, trying to become a teacher, or you are the new generation of teachers, thank you. Thank you. Because I've been seeing more people in my graduation class that have now become teachers, whether it's kindergarten or they're going through elementary school. And I'm just like, damn, you wanted to become a teacher. I remember being in class next to you, and it makes you think like the different career choices people chose after they graduated.
Yeah.
To make a difference and to sit down and really like help these kids is such a huge accomplishment. It's such a huge task to take on. Like that's a huge commitment. And I feel like being able to guide the next generation, even though like we're all still going through it and even though we didn't have the best, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's a really good career choice and career path to choose. I really wish that I could at least went into like, I wanted to become not a mentor. What do you call that?
Like
Counselor. I wanted to be a counselor for high school. I thought that would be kind of cool.
Never too late.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in school. I don't.
That'll be your one hurdle.
I know.
That'd be the one thing that knocks you down.
That will do it.
Hey, that'll do it. That'll do it.
I don't believe in paying for college. And I mean, if you do it, more power to you. I don't really care. That's on you. I've always believed in you can be successful without having a college degree.
You absolutely can.
Which is fact. I just think with what I needed, what I wanted to do, I had to go to school.
Yeah.
I feel
and there's
like
certain
there was
requirements
no way
that you do got it.
It'll probably bite me in the ass later on down the road when I find out that I'm not the entrepreneur I thought I was. But you know what? I'm going to keep pushing, and then at least
or you're going to reflect and be like, see, I fucking
said
made
I
it.
knew it.
Yeah, exactly. So either way it goes, I either learn my lesson or I stand on the hill and I die on it. You know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So
everything always happens for a better reason.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, it just goes back to one decision will change your life.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening. I love this episode. And thank you, DJ, for coming out here.
Absolutely.
This was a great episode again. So shout out to all you guys that are listening, and I appreciate you guys following us. DJ, plug in your socials, bro.
Yeah, shout out Woe Day on Instagram and TikTok. That is WHOADAEE. TikTok, Instagram. Give me a follow if you want some car content. YouTube coming up soon.
Yeah. So most importantly, remember that, hey, taking one day at a time. Everything's gonna work out your way. Just believe in yourself and never give up. And thank you guys. We love you guys, and remember to follow us on Instagram and on TikTok at brokeboys_FF. Thank you. We love you guys. Much love. Peace.
Bye.